So hello everyone. So this is the task and it is related to workflow and DVM. And here, so first question is normally if the service request status is closed, then we need to display error. SR is already closed with SR closed error code. And the second one will be if activity status is open or scheduled and created date is more than 7 days ago, then we need to create a new reminder activity under that particular SR which we were passing, and that activity ID which and that activity whose status is open, that ID must be stored in the activity which we were creating. And third question will be like if all the activities under that SR is closed, and we need to display the error all activities are closed for this SR with the error code all activities closed. And here I created three workflows and I'm passing SR row ID as an input to the each and every workflow. So first I will show you the DVM which I have created for first question and the third question. So data validation, is taking quite a lot of time. And here is our status check. So this is the one which I've created. So here, so I just gave service request status not equal to the lookup value closed, because since it is the DVM, since we need to just violate the rule in order to get the error message and error code, since I gave not equal to because of that. And related to uh, the next DVM rule, yeah, this is the active one. So here we need to check all the service requests, all the activities under that particular request. So I just use this BC has rows function. So BC has rows function will check on service request BO on action BC, and this is the search spec I'm passing, and it will check if status is not equal to closed, and this is the visibility, and I gave it to all. So these are the two validation rules which I've created for first one and third one. So now I will simulate the workflow and you can see. And this one is related to the first one. Here I'm just passing object ID and rule set name is our status check as input, and output argument we will get return message and return code. And now I will simulate this workflow, and by default I'm just passing object id as this one, since I have prepared test data. So in this test data, so you can observe that this is the SR with closed status. So first I will just simulate this workflow, and it will take time to open the application. Okay, since so I will just open that watch window. So this is the object id which we were passing with status closed. Since I'm passing status closed, so it needs to throw the error, and I'm simulating the workflow. I'm getting this error invoking dvm. So here we can see what is the error. Since see, you can see SR is already closed. Since I passed the service request with the status closed, so it gave the proper error, like which I gave in the DVM. So error invoking DVM with method validate. Here you can see the error message which I gave. And if I pass the negative scenario like SR status is not closed, here we can see what will happen. And first I will finish this one. Since we are getting this one, since I clicked stop on errors and immediate display, so if we get any error it will display immediately, it will stop on errors. Then I changed the object ID to this one. Now I will just simulate this one. Since you can see it goes to in block and it didn't give any error code and error message. Since this is about our first use case. And coming to the next use case, now, so here I need to check if the activity status is open or scheduled and created date is more than 7 days. So I need to create a new reminder activity with that SR ID which I am passing with the original activity ID in the comments. Now I will show this workflow. So this is the one activity reminder process. So here I'm just querying for the activities, like I'm passing search spec. Like here in this search spec, like I'm passing SRID as an input. So the activity SRID equal to SRID of the process property I'm passing, and status equal to it might be open or it might be scheduled, and created date. Since we need to get proper data, so that's the reason I gave created date is greater than equal to today minus 10 days. And I validated this one, no errors. Okay, then output I'm getting activity ID and count of activities as output argument. Here no record by default, this is one process property, I'm giving it as false since I'm using the next record step. And here one decision step, in this decision step it will check no record is false. So if no record is false, then it will go to create new activity. And here you can see in this BC action BC, so I'm inserting new record with this following properties: comment SRID, and comment will be activity ID of the previous activity whose status is open or scheduled since past 1 week. And type is I'm giving as a reminder since we need to create reminder activities, and status will be open by default since it is a new one. And after creating new one, and in output argument, and after this step it is going to next record. So in next record we are not passing any field input arguments and search spec directly in output. We are just checking no record is equal to no more records, and activity id equal to action this one activity id. So we are just equating this one, and here we are checking, and since there are more records, so it will go to this step. And since we will get the count of activity, so it will loop through this. Since we have 5 activities with the status open or scheduled, so it will loop 5 times, and after that it will go to end step. And now I will pass the input. So I will pass the SRID. So this is the SR who is having both the status open and scheduled. So now I will simulate this workflow. And I will open the watch window. And now I'm opening the watch window. And here you can see I'm giving SRID as an input. And first it will query, then it will go to the count of records. Here we have 2 records with the status open and scheduled. One is open and another one is scheduled, and created date is more than 7 days. So it is going to this step, so it will create one reminder activity. And after that, since we have another record, so here you can see, uh, yeah, no record is false. Since we gave if no record is false, then it will create the activity, and it is go to counter. And since we have another one, it will go to again, it will create another activity. And since it will go to new record, next record, and then it will go to counter. And here we can see no record turns to true, because since there is no record, we have only two records, so that is the reason. So now it will go to end step. Now you can see it will directly go to end step. And simulation ended successfully. Now we will go to this SR, and we will check what it is created in application. Okay, this is the SR, and here you can see today's date, and it created two activities, that two reminder activities. And here it is storing the comment as activity ID of this one. So we can check the row ID of this record. So this is the one 30U8. So this is the one, and we can check scheduled as well. 143T1. So it created two reminder activities with these activities ideas and comments. So this is the requirement. And now we will see the third one. So for third one, this is the workflow, where if all activities under that particular SR is closed, so we need to display this error message. So normally this is the workflow for that. And here I'm using count of activity. So this is the business service where we can get the count of actual activities. So in this business service, I'm passing service request row ID as an input. So as an output, I am getting the count of activities under that particular SR. And in next step, in search spec, so I'm querying, I wrote one search spec on action BC, like activity SR ID equal to service request ID of the process property which I am passing, and the status equal to lookup value closed. So now it will give in output, and I'm just getting number of rows who is having status as a closed. And here I just make one decision step, and it is an expression like count process property is equal to number of rows process property, means the actual count of record which I am getting under this business service is equal to the actual record closed records which I am getting under this query step. So if those are equal, then we are passing it to DVM for throwing the error. And in DVM, I'm passing rule set and return code and return message. Object ID is optional. And if not, it will directly go to this default end. Now I will just simulate this workflow. Okay, here I'm passing this SRID, and I will give same as the object ID as well, because object ID will store the context of the primary BC. And now, so here you can see we have four activities under this particular SR, and now it went to query step. Here you can see number of rows equal to 2, means there are two closed activities, and it goes to end because in decision step I added, so count is equal to number of rows, then only it will pass to DVM. And now I will give the positive case where we have two activities where those status equal to closed. So this is the one 1-3929. Now I will simulate this one. So now first I will end the simulation and I will start again. Object ID, and so there is count of activity is equal to 2, and we will see based on the query what is the output we will get. Yeah, now we will go to next step, and so the number of rows also 2, so 2 equal to 2, then it will go to DVM, and now it will throw the message return code and return message. This is the written code, all activities are closed, and this is the message, all activities are closed for this SR. So this is about the requirement. Now I will stop the simulation, and now if you want we can go and check in the SR level as well. So you can see this is the one. You can check the row ID. So this is same 13921. So that's it about the demo. Thank you.